What's up guys, Jerry here coming at you with just a quick movie review. I want to get back into this. It's been a long time. I apologize for that. Life is busy, man. It throws curveballs your way. So this is just a simple one, and I figured a simple one might be a nice way to get back into things. Everybody talking about Star Wars, but I also saw another movie this weekend. I saw Sisters, which is the new film from Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. So yeah, let's get into this real quick. Off the top, I think this is a funny movie. I laughed a lot. Like, pound for pound, if you're just judging by laughs, I laughed a lot at this movie. It's about two sisters, one of whom is very sheltered, very safe. She has a decent job, you know, her life is figured out to a degree. She's just recently divorced, you know, she's figured out, but there's not a lot of spice or flavor in her life. And then you have Tina Fey, who is the wild sister who does not have her shit together, who is like a single parent, and this movie is just kind of like a coming-of-age story for two adults who should have grown up by now. We have the sort of man-child trope. This is kind of like woman-children growing up and coming of age and stuff like that. And how does that happen? Well, they go back home, their parents are selling their childhood house, they're freaking out about this, and they decide to go back and relive the glory days and throw a big-ass party because they were, you know, the queens of party back in high school in their hometown. And chaos ensues from there. And this movie, it's pretty simple, man. Like, this movie is incredibly loose. It's a riff-based, you know, improv-based comedy. We get a lot of these. It's a very popular American genre of comedy. And your enjoyment of this film will kind of hinge upon just whether or not you find these people and these jokes funny. And I did. Like, I laughed at a lot of this stuff. There are a lot of characters who show up. I mean, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, I think they have a great chemistry together. They are very funny together. There are a lot of people who show up in this. James Brolin and Diane Wiest are their parents. Bobby Moynihan is in this. Maya Rudolph. Kate McKinnon is in it for a second. John Cena pops up. He's really funny. Like, he's very funny in this movie. Bobby Moynihan's in this, and I mean, he's funny. Like, that's the thing, is like, these are a lot of these characters, the kinds of characters that could very well get annoying and incessant, and I'm sure some people probably do find them annoying and incessant, but for me, you know, Bobby Moynihan tickles me pink, and he tickled me pink in this. This is one of those comedies that's sort of about dysfunctional people learning how to become more functional, and it has a few slightly more poignant plot twists thrown in, you know, when the gauntlet is thrown down and the world calls on these characters to really make a change. I mean, the characters get called on their bullshit in a reasonably effective way, but not before a huge amount of hijinks happens. This becomes the kind of movie after a while that you sort of cringe through, or at least I do, where they're throwing this party, things are getting more and more out of hand, and, you know, there's just so much destruction, and some of it is pretty over the top. It is a slapstick, disastrous comedy, and as a movie, you know, not even in terms of like story structure, but like as a movie, the flow of the story is pretty loose. This is the kind of film that can easily dip into tedium or into being painful to watch. It's the kind of thing I could easily see somebody not liking. I could easily see somebody sitting down to this and going, these people are assholes and this is a shitty situation and I'm not having fun. And a lot of the deciding factor in that is just how you feel about these particular people and these particular jokes. Like me as a viewer, I don't love these kinds of comedies, but I really enjoyed the chemistry. I really enjoyed the people they got to fill the supporting cast and what they brought to this. Like, this is a script that I think is brought to life by the people involved with it, because I've seen movies of this sort that I don't like. I'd almost go so far as to say it's kind of as much of a mess as the party in the film itself is. It just so happens that I laughed at a lot of the jokes, and you may feel differently. It's incredibly loose. It's probably a little too long, but I didn't mind, because the character stuff is funny. There's enough pathos in there to make it, you know, slightly more rewarding than your average crazy party movie. You could take these same characters and probably make a better film out of them, a more deep and poignant film, but there's some nice coming-of-age stuff and wacky comedy, very funny vignettes and side characters and stuff like that. So yeah, I enjoyed Sisters alright. You know, it's not my favorite comedy of the year, but if you think you like this movie, you'll probably like it. It's nice to have a very funny female-driven comedy that probably won't be passed off as being just for girls, you know, because that's kind of bullshit, you know. This is a comedy, and I think if you like this kind of comedy at all, you'll probably like this movie. So yeah, Sisters, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. Did you like it? Let's talk. What's your favorite Tina Fey or Amy Poehler piece? You know, what do you like most from them? And until next time, my name is Jerry. Sisters is the film. Cheers.